Tonight on CTV News at 6, Alberta teachers serve strike notice. Their ultimatum:
the choice is theirs. Solve this dispute or face a province-wide teacher strike.
And the province's response. Edmonton Police oppose a plea deal in a rare public criticism of the Crown.
The shock we all felt in learning this news against what we knew of the case was significant.
And why several tents went up stories above an Edmonton street.
This situation showed much broader, bigger situation and problem in the area.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. Alberta teachers will go on strike next month if they're unable to reach a settlement with the province. The teachers union says parents and students need to prepare for a possible school shutdown starting October 6th. Connor Hogg is outside St. Francis Xavier High School, one of the many schools across the province where teachers could walk off the job. And Connor, what do we know about what this strike could look like?
Jeff, ATA President Jason Schilling says those details are still being ironed out. It's too early to tell if Alberta would see rolling strikes or if all schools would close immediately. Schilling says the public education system in Alberta is in crisis, and the time for half measures is over.
Today we are announcing that if a negotiated settlement is not achieved through bargaining, we will commence strike action on Monday, October 6th.
The president of the ATA says teachers' patience has run out.
It's hypocritical for this government to claim that it values education while spending the least in Canada.
Teachers say the 12.5% wage increase and the promise to add 3,000 teachers over the next 3 years is not enough. Schilling says chronic underfunding has led to students learning in libraries and hallways. The teachers union wants salaries that make up for inflation over the last decade. Schilling says strike action is being announced now in order to give everyone time to prepare.
What teachers want is simple. Classrooms that are properly funded, respect for the work that they do, and wages that reflect their value to Alberta's future.
If we can make some progress on classroom conditions, getting more people in the classroom, we're prepared to do that. So I hope that we've got the ability to get back to the bargaining table, come to an agreement together so that we can avoid strike action.
If teachers do go on strike, they will not receive strike pay. Schilling says the 95% yes vote was made in full knowledge of this.
That, to me, shows a profound commitment from teachers across this province to do what's right for kids.
Alberta's finance minister says he's pleased teachers want to return to the table and disappointed a potential disruption is being used as leverage. That disruption is the top concern of people we spoke with.
They go on strike and there's no school. Who's going to take care of my kids?
Something has to come to resolution because it affects basically everyone with kids.
A lot of students that are like missing credits or anything, you know, they need the time to work on what they need to work on so that they can pass the class.
Let me be clear. October 6th is coming quickly. The choice is theirs. Solve this dispute or face a province-wide teachers' strike.
The ATA says its Provincial Executive Council will be meeting next week to discuss its options moving forward. Jeff?
All right, Connor, thank you. That's Connor Hogg live tonight. And with the potential strike looming, many parents will be looking for childcare options. Organizations like the YMCA are planning a programming shift in the event of a strike. That would include full-time licensed childcare, as well as expanded programming at its health, fitness, and aquatic centers. Families currently enrolled in part-time programming will be given first opportunity to sign up for time slots.
We will shift to full day care for families because we know that they have to go to work. And so it would look like we would operate like we would on a PD day, or we just finished operating full-time all summer. So children would come to us full days instead of going to school.
The Y isn't the only organization offering parents a hand. TELUS World of Science is looking at offering day camps if schools are closed.
We're really well aware that everyone's a little anxious about where their kids are going to be during that time. And we're looking forward to welcoming a few additional kids when we need to. Registration information will be made available on the Science Center's social media accounts. From
Frontline healthcare workers have rejected a tentative agreement with Alberta Health Services. 78% of eligible members with the Health Sciences Association of Alberta cast ballots. 59% voted against the tentative agreement. HSAA says a strike vote isn't being called but is urging AHS and the province to bring forward a better offer. The union represents more than 22,000 specialized healthcare workers. Finance Minister Nate Horner says he's disappointed an agreement hasn't been reached. He says it's up to the union to determine why its own proposed deal failed to pass the vote. In an unprecedented move, Edmonton Police are publicly criticizing Crown prosecutors for making a manslaughter plea deal rather than taking a murder charge to trial. The case involves an 8-year-old girl whose body was found in a hockey bag in Musqueam in 2023. Before her death, the girl suffered abuse police describe as some of the worst investigators have ever seen. Jeremy Thompson reports.
We are broken, we are devastated, and we felt like we've been silenced for the past 2 years.
A difficult and emotional day in court for the family of an 8-year-old girl who died in spring 2023. She and the woman charged in her death are protected by a publication ban and cannot be named. The family wants that to change.
We want to say her name. We want it out there. She deserves that at least.
The painful court process was made worse, the family says, because prosecutors agreed to a plea deal that sees the accused convicted of manslaughter rather than murder.
We heard the evidence. We heard what happened to her, and this is not a manslaughter charge.
According to the agreed statement of facts, the woman was drinking and doing meth in the bathroom while the victim and 3 other young children were home. She found the 8-year-old motionless on a bedroom floor with a head wound. Rather than calling for help or attempting to treat the injury, the woman asked her friends for advice on hiding the body. Police later recovered the girl's remains in Musqueam. A medical exam determined the girl had suffered chronic child abuse, bruises all over her body, a broken rib and other bones. She was also in sepsis from an untreated broken tooth. The examiner said if not for those injuries, she may have survived the head wound.
The trauma that our investigative and supporting teams felt in managing this file was extreme and is lingering for all of us.
Police say the case is so egregious, they made the extraordinary decision to ask the government to intervene, calling on the Assistant Deputy Justice Minister to review the plea deal investigators understood to include an 8-year sentence.
So we are at a point where we have exhausted every other option we have to try to raise our concerns with them.
Court heard today the sentence in the plea deal is contested and could end up at more than 8 years. The sentencing hearing will likely happen late this year or early next. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Matthew DeGrood has taken an appeal to Alberta's highest court. DeGrood was found not criminally responsible for one of the worst mass killings in the province's history. DeGrood killed 5 people at a house party in Calgary in 2014 during a schizophrenic episode. He currently lives at a group home in Calgary. His team is seeking a conditional discharge so he can live at his parents' home. The review board has deemed he still poses a significant risk to public safety. Today, his lawyer said that rehabilitation, medication, and treatment have mitigated that risk. The Alberta Court of Appeal will make a decision at a later date. Edmonton Police Service is warning people of a fraudster spoofing an EPS phone number. The fraudster is using this number to tell people they're involved in a fraud investigation. Then they request personal information. The call comes in as Edmonton Police Service Downtown Branch Front Counter Line. If you receive a call from this number, you shouldn't answer or hang up. Police say officers will never call you from a general inquiries line. City Council is asking administration to look into new regulations for short-term rentals. While Alberta's Hotel Association agrees something needs to change, some rental unit owners say those changes could put them out of business. Evan Kenny explains.
I really think the vilification needs to stop.
Monica Marchand built this suite above her garage and has been using it as a short-term rental property for the past 6 years. She's disappointed to hear City Council is looking at changing the regulations around units like hers.
Good hosts are compliant hosts, and we want to do the right thing. So we follow all the rules, we pay all the fees.
City staff brought forward a report showing concerns around short-term rentals are overblown. Staff Staff recommend maintaining the status quo. Council is ignoring that recommendation and is looking at regulating these rentals.
We all need to be paying our fair share, and right now these short-term rentals are not.
City Council is asking administration to look into mandating business licenses for platforms like Vrbo and Airbnb. That would force hosts to pay commercial taxes and create a system to hold problem properties accountable for bad behavior. The Alberta Hotel and Lodging Association supports the move. It would like to see the city implement a principal residence requirement.
People and corporations that are buying up, tens and even hundreds of homes and condominiums around the city and renting them out on a nightly basis, that's not home sharing. That's a commercial enterprise.
Other short-term rental owners say these spaces are an affordable option for visitors to have a different style of stay versus a hotel and helps homeowners make some extra cash. Marchand wants to keep offering her unit to people, but believes with a new tax,
then I simply won't be able to afford it.
It's expected to take another year for the city to draft new regulations. Evan Kenny, CTV News, Edmonton.
A new road closure west of downtown is set to start next week. The city says it will close 102nd Avenue from 130th to 132nd Streets to start work on the Wellington Bridge. The avenue will be fully closed to all road traffic, pedestrians, and cyclists. The trail in the ravine underneath will also be closed for safety. The city says it recognizes that the West End has dealt with many construction and road closures, but the Wellington Bridge was built in 1932 and has reached the end of its lifespan.
For this bridge, why is it done now? Like, again, it's been on life support since 2014, so that we don't put these folks and all these businesses in the same experiences right after, 102nd Overgrowth Bridge. So that, 10 years, but we can't hold it any further without jeopardizing safety. And this is something we're not willing to do.
The city says the bridge replacement was coordinated with the other area closures for LRT construction. The director of the Valley Line LRT says the project is on schedule, but some overlap was unavoidable.
But as we see here on the Wellington, there's a recognition. There's a lot of road work the city needs to catch up on, and we, trying our best to sort of make sure not too much is on top of each other. But again, we had to start this bridge project this year in order for it to get done in a year.
The Wellington Bridge replacement is expected to be done by October 2026. Recent photos of a building in downtown Edmonton are reigniting conversations about safety in the inner city. As Merrick Takash reports, a simple solution to a small problem has turned into a larger call for action.
16 tents a few stories above the street caught the attention of people passing by the building. Images shared and reshared on social media.
This situation showed much broader, bigger situation and problem in the area.
Assumed by some to be a homeless camp up high, the real reason was to protect the tents recently used at a camp for Ukrainian kids who fled the war in their homeland.
Every time when we leave something outside, somebody can steal it or damage or whatever. So we decided to put them on the roof and dry them on the roof.
The president of the Ukrainian National Federation's Edmonton branch says crime and disorder in the area are out of control. T-Bar Cafe has been open across the street for more than 2 decades. The owner says disorder in the area has become worse over the past few years.
Sometimes there's so many homeless guys walking around outside and they have the mental problem too. So I can say it's really safety right now.
City Councillor Ann Stevenson is planning on making a motion at City Hall next week, asking staff to work with the province and Hope Mission to address capacity issues at shelters downtown.
There's over 600 emergency shelter beds, and that creates pressure inevitably on the community surrounding it. And it's not, a result of the people using those facilities. It's a result of the fact that there is nowhere for folks to be during the day.
The Federation is hoping to set up a roundtable discussion including all levels of government with the Edmonton Police Service.
We had a lot of statements and bylaws, but nobody follows them. We had recently new bylaws about band handling and loitering on the streets, but nothing is working.
It's hoped a meeting date will be set sometime within the next month or two. Merrick Takash, CTV News, Edmonton.
Canada's first ever battery-powered locomotive has been unveiled in Sherwood Park. Cando Rail and Terminals developed the zero-emission locomotive. It says the lithium-ion train has a 10-year life cycle similar to a diesel locomotive. The company says it will be used primarily for in-yard operations. The company says charging the locomotive works the same way as charging an electric vehicle.
I'm going to charge it up when I go to work. I'm going to charge it up when I go home. Same thing here. The guys go on a lunch break, they'll just charge it up. So constantly be going in that sense.
Cando Rail and Terminals plans to create a locomotive manufacturing plant in Alberta in the next 5 to 10 years. All right, Josh, out and about tonight. Josh, what brings you to Cameron Heights on this fine evening?
The Mighty Millions Lottery. It's all in support of the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation, and I will tell you a little bit about the prizes in a second, but first I want to introduce you to my good friend, the mighty Isabella. But since we're good friends now, I can just call you Bella, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Bella, tell me a little bit about your story. How old were you when you had your first open heart surgery?
My first open heart surgery I had at 6 days old.
6 days old. How many have you had in total? You've been in and out of the hospital a lot.
I've had 3.
3. Okay. How are you feeling these days? Things are good?
I have to get another surgery, but pretty good.
Yeah. Tell me about your experience at the Stollery. How are the nurses? How are the doctors? They treat you well?
Yeah, they do. A lot.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite there? Who you wanted to shout out your cardiologist a little bit?
I'm going to shout out to, if you're watching, Dr. Atella. My cardiologist is named Dr. Atella, and he's very funny, and I've dressed up as a grandma, and I've worn elf ears before, and we mess around. And then last time I was taking care of my mom as a doctor, so it's on the computer, says, what kind of medications do you have and stuff?
Oh, nice. So it sounds like, I mean, no one wants to be in the hospital all the time, but if you have to, it's nice to have this world-class facility right here in our backyard. The doctors treat you fantastic. The nurses are great. Now, people can help support the Stollery. Did you know this? By buying tickets, they could potentially win this house, or if they get their tickets by midnight Friday, I heard you like watching the Oilers.
Yes, I love watching it.
Well, people could win 2 lower bowl season seats to watch the Oilers. But not only that, they could also win $75,000 cash, Bella. All you have to do is go to the website. What's the website, Bella? Mighty Millions Lottery.
MightyMillionsLottery.com.
That's right. Okay, very quickly, because we talked a lot about your experience, but we should probably do a little bit of weather very, very quickly. Okay, and Bella wants to help me out. Okay, so what's the temperature right now in Edmonton, Bella?
Where's the temperature?
Right in the middle,
24 degrees.
24 degrees at the airport, 25 downtown, and we got to a high today of
27 degrees.
27 degrees. Bella, excellent work. Thank you for talking to me. You think people should buy tickets and potentially win this house and those Oilers seats?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. You heard it right from the mighty Isabella. Back with the full 5 and 10 day forecast and a little bit more about this house in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Bella. Stay with us. Coming up next, growing calls for change.
I would say that the temporary foreign worker program needs to be repealed and replaced.
Alberta's premier the latest to ask Ottawa to seriously rework Canada's temporary foreign worker program. Also next.
Lots of investment has been put into aviation here.
A new training facility in Alberta means thousands of new pilots will be able to take flight.
Wednesday, how to make sure your kids get enough protein.
The protein plus a carb and a color.
And a battle in the text line about the best decade for music. More on your feedback Thursday.
CTV Morning Live Edmonton. Weekdays.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Premier Danielle Smith wants Ottawa to either scrap or completely reform the country's temporary foreign worker program. The program allows employers to hire out-of-country employees to fill jobs when they're unable to hire qualified locals. It's recently come under fire from both sides of the aisle, and today the Premier weighed in. Danielle Smith alleges the program has contributed to Alberta's high youth unemployment rate and wants it scaled back.
It's very, very clear that the temporary foreign worker program was meant for higher wage, higher skill workers. It was not meant to displace young people at those entry-level positions. So I would say that the temporary foreign worker program needs to be repealed and replaced. Let's make sure that we're protecting true seasonal workers.
Ottawa is reviewing the program. Prime Minister Mark Carney says he wants to bring the total number of temporary workers and international students to less than 5% of Canada's population, down from its peak of 7.25% last year. The federal government is paying to retrofit 59 townhouses in Edmonton to make them more energy efficient. The Green Municipal Fund aims to reduce building energy use for sustainable, affordable housing. The project will be completed at the Sundance Housing Cooperative in the Riverdale neighborhood. Improvements include new windows and doors and roof solar panels. People can stay in their homes while construction is ongoing.
That's a really important piece because a lot of times there's a concern about people having to move out and then come back in. What that means is that we're not only reducing their energy use through these retrofits, we're also making their energy bills much more affordable.
The project will cost $11 million. A proposed data center east of Balzac has been rejected. Rocky View Council voted 6-1 against Kineticor's data center, area structure plan, and land redesignation. Some councillors said they would be on board with the data center, but not at the expense of agricultural land. Kineticor says, although it's not the outcome it had hoped for, it respects the county's decision. A new aviation training facility in our province will provide training grounds for thousands of pilots each year. WestJet will be the main tenant of the facility in Calgary. The agreement includes the airline, airport, and training company CAE. The 126,000 square foot facility will open in 2028. It's expected to train about 6,000 pilots and airline staff per year when it's completed. A partnership with Mount Royal University will also see aviation students access the flight simulators and equipment.
It just shows the amount of opportunity there is for students and people who are looking to go into aviation in Alberta. Lots of investment has been put into aviation here. Having a big company like WestJet, headquarters in Calgary, makes it an excellent place to network.
The provincial government is putting up $11 million. The city of Calgary is covering nearly $7 million. After the break, honoring Alberta artists.
Luckily, it's a job that I continue to do because I love.
A musical mentor among those chosen for a prestigious award from Alberta's Lieutenant Governor.
Back at the Mighty Millions Lottery Grand Prize home with the mighty Bella. And who is this?
Dr. Patchup.
Dr. Patchup, do you think it's going to be sunny tomorrow? Dr. Patchup says yes. I concur. In fact, could be some record highs tomorrow and Friday. Your forecast is next.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Musical mentor to thousands of young Albertans, has been honored with a Distinguished Artist Award from Alberta's Lieutenant Governor. Elaine Quilicini is one of 3 winners. She's the founder and artistic director of the Calgary Girls Choir, which is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. Since 1995, thousands of girls have gone through the choir. Quilicini says she was thrilled to be recognized for all her hard work over the years.
Luckily, it's a job that I continue to do because I love. If it didn't feed me so much, if I wasn't so excited every time I sit down with a new piece of music or with a new group of singers, then I would stop.
Trumpet player Jens Lindemann and artist Rita McKeough are the other distinguished artists this year. All 3 will receive the award October the 3rd. All right, back out to Cameron Heights. Josh, records may be falling, maybe.
Yeah, we're we're going to be within a degree or two of record daytime highs for tomorrow and Friday, a little closer than we were today. I mean, today we were, within 2.1 degrees of the record daytime high. More sunshine in the forecast as well. Take a look through the Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace, fixed right over, it's free. We're at 25 degrees right now. Haze doesn't look that bad, although the Air Quality Health Index for most of today has been in the moderate risk range. I think it'll be low to moderate risk for most of tonight and tomorrow, so a little bit better than the past couple of days. 24 in Fort McMurray as well as Grand Prairie for daytime highs today. It was 27 in Edmonton, Cold Lake, and Lloydminster, and a degree or two hotter than that for the next couple of days as we get close to 30 tomorrow and Friday. We've got some thunderstorms there coming off of the foothills, and then some showers off to the southeast, a little low pressure system. You might see one or two of those showers or thunderstorms in the Rocky Mountain House region push towards Red Deer. It really doesn't look like it's going to make its way far enough north to hit the Edmonton region. Even Red Deer is sort of an outside chance. The best bet for some showers this evening and overnight tonight will be in east central Alberta as that system and that area of rain moves off to the north and northeast. That'll clear out by tomorrow morning, and so for most of the province, you're looking at mainly sunny skies right through the day tomorrow, and sunshine as well on Friday. Low to mid-20s right now across northern Alberta. We're in the mid-20s here in Edmonton. Red Deer's at 23. Pretty light wind for most areas around the province. And that will certainly be the case again tomorrow here in the city. Pretty calm overnight tonight, and 5 to maybe 10 kilometer per hour wind tomorrow. 11 degrees in the morning, up to a high of 28 or 29 tomorrow afternoon. Don't forget the bonus prize deadline in the Money Millions Lottery is midnight Friday. It's the Oilers and $75,000 cash bonus prize. You can win 2 lower bowl season seats to see the Oilers and $75,000. Go to mightymillionslottery.com. Don't forget, when you get your tickets, if you get them by Friday, you're not only eligible for that bonus prize, but also for the early bird prize and for the grand prize, which is this spectacular $2.5 million house that we're in, which comes with $100,000 cash. All right, there's your records for tomorrow and Friday. 29 set in 2017 and 30 set in 2013. We're going to be really close. 28 and 29 in the forecast for highs tomorrow and Friday. Even Saturday, Sunday, I mean, we won't be close to records, but we're still in the mid-20s, still a handful of degrees above average. It does look like we'll see a little bit of a cool down and back closer to average through next week, especially towards the end of next week. Monday, still looking at a 40% chance of showers. This was, the last 2 days, it was looking like heavy, steady rain for Monday. It now looks like, hey, if we get anything at all, it's just scattered showers. Partly cloudy, highs of about 22 for Tuesday, Wednesday, and then in the 18 or 19 range to close next week. So you look at those temperatures compared to average, I mean, way above average here for the next 4 days. And then even with that cool down towards the end of next week, still 18 or 19 is right around the seasonal averages for the middle of September. Again, beautiful house here in Cameron Heights. If you want your tickets, go to mightymillionslottery.com, and this place could be yours. If you get them before Friday, you could be off to see the Oilers for those lower bowl season seats.
Sounds great. Thanks, Josh. Stay with us. Coming up, the latest on the shooting death of Charlie Kirk.
Everyone got down. Everyone was so scared.
We'll hear from witnesses about the aftermath of the broad daylight shooting of the prominent Trump supporter. Also next.
Allies expressed solidarity with Poland and denounced Russia's reckless behavior.
NATO fighter jets engage Russian drones over Poland. Fears of broader conflict after the provocation.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
The director of the FBI says a person taken into custody related to the shooting death of political activist Charlie Kirk has been released after interrogation. Kirk was shot and killed during an event today in Utah. ABC's Rena Roy reports.
Conservative activist Charlie Kirk dead at 31 years old after authorities say he was shot while speaking at Utah Valley University this afternoon.
We have a person of interest in custody that is being interviewed right now.
Video shows the moments before Kirk was shot. We're pausing it before the gunfire.
Just one shot straight into Charlie Kirk.
And I watched a fountain of blood come out of the side of his neck like a water fountain.
Panic and chaos in the crowd as people ran for cover.
Anyone could just walk in. It was at probably the worst place in campus because there's so many areas where anyone can just walk in.
Witnesses say Kirk was talking about gun violence when he was shot.
Everyone got down. Everyone was so scared.
Kirk is a massive voice in the conservative movement as the founder and CEO of Turning Point USA, an influential conservative youth organization. He's often sparked heated debates on college campuses across the country. His rhetoric has often been closely aligned with President Trump.
I had a brief conversation with the president over the phone. He sounded quite upset, quite down about this. He told me it's horrific. It's one of the most horrific things I've ever seen.
Both the ATF and FBI are responding. The FBI saying they're closely monitoring the situation and that agents are on the ground there. Politicians on both sides of the aisle denouncing politically motivated violence.
This is detestable, what's happened. Political violence has become all too common in American society, and this is not who we are.
Multiple senior sources inside the West Wing saying they are in shock and disbelief. Sources also tell ABC News the president has postponed a dinner he had planned for this evening. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Canada is promising to stand with Poland after a serious escalation in Eastern Europe. Poland shot down Russian drones that entered its airspace. Poland is a key member of NATO, and its government says a line has been crossed. CTV's Mike Locomotive reports.
Poland's prime minister said today his country is the closest it has been to open conflict since the Second World War. Residents of an eastern Poland village describe hearing the roar of a plane falling from the sky, and then a massive boom shook their home. The house was destroyed, he said. The remnants of a suspected Russian drone remain in his yard as Polish authorities search several other sites where drones were found. Moscow claims there were no plans to target Poland. Many of them were shot down with the help of NATO allies, and talks between member countries were quickly called under an Article 4 consultation. Prime Minister Donald Tusk praised the quick response of allies, but pointed out this changes the political situation. In a post on social media, U.S. President Donald Trump said, "What's with Russia violating Poland's airspace with drones? Here we go." After a NATO meeting, the Secretary General said a full assessment of the incident is ongoing.
Allies expressed solidarity with Poland and denounced Russia's reckless behavior.
While rallying support for Poland in the European Parliament, Ursula von der Leyen told lawmakers the EU is now working on a 19th package of sanctions against Russia.
We're particularly looking at phasing out Russian fossil fuels faster. We're looking at the shadow fleet and at third countries.
Russia's defense ministry says it had not targeted Poland, but Prime Minister Tusk says there were 19 breaches of Polish airspace. And Canada's defense minister is casting doubt on the Kremlin's explanation.
I don't think we can take a lot of what comes from Russia right now at face value.
McGuinty wouldn't say if Canada will deploy more resources to the region, but Germany's foreign minister said NATO stands united and there must be a response to Russia's actions. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
The Liberal government says it is reviewing Canada's ties to Israel after the strike on Qatar.
We are evaluating the relationship with Israel. Of course, the attack yesterday on Qatar was one that was unacceptable.
Canada has joined a growing list of nations condemning the attack Israel called a targeted strike. It killed 5 members of Hamas. A BC judge has ruled the suspect in Vancouver's Lapu Lapu Festival attack is fit to stand trial. Adam Kaiji Low was originally facing 11 counts of second-degree murder. He's now facing 31 additional counts of attempted murder in relation to the surviving victims. Low is being held without bail at his secure mental health facility. He's accused of intentionally driving a vehicle through a crowd at the festival in April, killing 11 people and injuring dozens. The Prime Minister says the upcoming federal budget will focus on cutting spending with new spending in key areas. Mark Carney is also trying to distance himself from Justin Trudeau and bolster Western relations. As CTV's Abigail Beeman reports, there are still a few details about how the feds will pay for their promises.
Politics is like hockey. It doesn't build character, it reveals it.
More than a few hockey references in the Prime Minister's speech to caucus about fall priorities delivered in his hometown. Mark Carney referenced a budget with tough decisions. There are big questions about how he'll pay for big investments while spending less and which Trudeau government commitments he'll keep.
This fall, we will release a new climate competitiveness strategy that focuses on results over objectives and investments over prohibitions. Third, we will remain relentlessly focused on bringing down costs for Canadians.
Backsliding on our commitments around climate, if you read values, it'll be a very odd thing for us to do.
Carney said the first major projects list will be announced tomorrow. Radio Canada is reporting no pipelines will be on it.
No one should take any lesson from the first list of projects that this is the end.
What the Liberals need to do in order to actually allow major projects to move forward is repeal C-69, repeal C-48, lift the production cap, remove the policies that they put in place that block these projects from moving forward.
Those signs point to a thawing of relations between Ottawa and Western Canada, strained in the Trudeau years.
I think there's even a thawing of tone in Danielle Smith. But she's still making a number of demands that frankly can't all be met.
The Prime Minister ends his day meeting with Premier Smith here in Alberta's capital. The pro-pipeline Premier has said she'll be pushing for action on what she calls 9 bad laws hurting the province's economy. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Edmonton.
After the break, protecting birds of prey.
Tremendous environmental benefit and a very big benefit for the farmers and ranchers.
Wildlife Rehab releasing multiple birds just in time for migration. Also next.
One step closer to answering humanity's one of their most profound questions, and that is, are we truly alone in the universe?
A new study from NASA providing some evidence for those who want to believe. And there is a live look from the CTV drone above Edmonton's River Valley Horilac Park in view, and several trees starting to turn yellow despite the high late summer temperatures. Stay with us.
Programming brought to you by Southview Acura. For family-owned, award-winning excellence, Southview Acura, where luxury meets reality.
Checking on the markets, the Canadian dollar is down, trading at just over 72 cents U.S. Oil is up a little more than $1, trading around $63 U.S. a barrel. Gold's a drop of just 20 cents. On the stock market, the TSX gained 116 points. The Dow Jones lost 220 points today. Mysterious footage has been released as part of a U.S. House committee hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAPs. The video shot by a U.S. Reaper drone allegedly shows a Hellfire missile launched from another drone being fired at what a congressman called an orb. It happened off the coast of Yemen in 2024. The missile hits the object, which begins to tumble and break apart, but the pieces continue to fly.
Does this video scare you guys? Yes or no?
Yes.
The video came from a whistleblower. Last year, the Pentagon released a UAP report saying some sightings turned out to be balloons, birds, and unmanned aerial systems. NASA says a recent discovery is the clearest sign yet of ancient life found on Mars.
Today, we are really showing you how we are kind of one step closer to answering humanity's one of their most profound questions, and that is, are we truly alone in the universe?
In a study published today, researchers tested a small sample of rock formed billions of years ago, obtained from one of NASA's rovers. The rock, covered in intricate markings, was found in a dusty riverbed on the Red Planet. Scientists believe the stones contain minerals associated with ancient Martian microbes. An Alberta destination has been recognized by National Geographic as one of 10 need-to-visit Canadian national parks. The Rocky Mountain House, his National Historic Site, made the list at number 7. While not technically a park, the site is run by Parks Canada. The site teaches the history of the Canadian fur trade and Indigenous communities.
You can hear stories through drumming and song, engage in the Métis camps. There's wildlife. There's bison right there. There's trappers' tents. There's teepees, You can make bannock out there. Just a treasure trove of things. And of course, learn about David Thompson, who was one of the greatest mapping individuals in history, and learn all about him and his adventures through this area.
The area also offers skiing, hiking, biking, canoeing, and river rafting. Rocky Mountain House National Historic Site was the only Alberta destination to make the list. A number of birds native to Alberta are back where they belong after rescue and rehabilitation. The Alberta Birds of Prey Centre in Lethbridge released them into the wild today. CTV's Carson Marsouk reports.
3, 2, 1.
These birds are taking flight after spending months in recovery.
The species that was most important to get on their way today are the Swainson's hawks. They leave the nest sometimes in July and August, and then by mid to late September, they're already heading on their way to Argentina.
5 of the birds were released Wednesday morning near Cottonwood Park on the city's west side. A Merlin falcon and a short-eared owl also took flight on a new life.
They nest in our farms and ranchers, and even right here in the city of Lethbridge, there's a lot of them nesting in people's backyards, especially out around 43rd Street on the north side. We've even found them nesting like in the London Road area.
The 7 birds released were all found in Lethbridge and taken to the Alberta Birds of Prey Foundation for rehabilitation.
They got some pretty big talons, and that, you know, it's a little concerning, but it wasn't too bad.
While the birds will migrate for the winter, Colin Weir says most will likely return back to the Lethbridge region in the spring.
We'd be up to our ears in mice and ground squirrels or gophers if it were not for the Swainson's hawks and red tails and ferruginous that we have here in southern Alberta. So tremendous environmental benefit and a very big benefit for the farmers and ranchers.
The Birds of Prey Foundation takes in injured birds throughout the year. Weir says since the beginning, he's been able to release thousands of birds back into the wild. Carson Marsouk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
After the break, Oilers on the board.
Were the Winnipeg Jets?
No. Edmonton is further north. Ian?
Jeopardy contestants failed to clinch a question about an Edmonton All-Star.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you tonight on CTV. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
With the Prime Minister and his caucus meeting in Edmonton, many important issues are being discussed. Still, Mark Carney couldn't resist throwing in a reference to his favorite hockey team in his hometown.
We are in a crisis. We are in a crisis. The global trading system has been upended. Supply chains have been destroyed. McDavid is unsigned. This is not a transition. This is a rupture. As in times like these, you have to draw back in. Remember what you have. Draisaitl, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins.
McDavid has said all options are on the table when it comes to contract extension talks with the Oilers. Meantime, McDavid's on-ice partner Leon Draisaitl was the subject of a stumper on last night's Jeopardy!
Canadian girlfriends for 600.
Leon Draisaitl stars for this northernmost NHL team, but went to warmer Spain to propose to Celeste Desjardins. Ian.
Were the Winnipeg Jets?
No. Edmonton is further north. Ian.
Oilers superstar Leon Draisaitl has won the NHL's MVP award and has previously led the league in points and goals scored. That is our show for this evening. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, visit ctvnewsedmonton.ca or the CTV channel on YouTube. Thank you.